Hello Army, welcome back to the channel, and if this is your first time here, welcome, because today we are talking about something that combines two of the most exciting forces in Korean popular culture in a way that has absolutely lit up the internet and that I think tells us something genuinely fascinating about where Jungkook currently stands in the Korean entertainment landscape. The two forces I am talking about are Jungkook and the Waterbomb festival. And the story that brings them together is one that starts with a number, a very specific and very significant number, and that unfolds into a conversation about why that number matters, what it says about the anticipation surrounding Jungkook's Waterbomb appearance, and most importantly, what we might actually expect to happen when one of the most celebrated performers in the world takes a stage that is specifically designed to test what a performer is made of in the most literal and most spectacular way possible. The number is 1,618. That is how many votes Jungkook received in the Idol chart poll asking fans to choose the star they most want to see shake up the Waterbomb stage. To understand why that number is significant, you need to understand who came second. PSY came second, with 222 votes. If you are not immediately familiar with why PSY at a Waterbomb festival is a particularly loaded comparison, let me give you the context because it is essential to understanding the full weight of what these numbers are saying. PSY is the artist whose name is probably more permanently and more deeply associated with Waterbomb than any other name in the history of the festival. He is the man whose performances there have become reference points, cultural touchstones, moments that people who attended still talk about years later as among the most extraordinary live music experiences they have ever had. PSY at Waterbomb is not a celebrity showing up at a summer festival. It is an institution. It is the combination of an artist who understands summer energy at a fundamental creative level with a festival format that was practically designed to showcase everything he does best. When PSY performs at Waterbomb, the crowd is drenched and the energy is through the roof and the performance becomes the kind of shared collective experience that people carry with them for years as a marker of a specific time and a specific feeling and a specific joy. And Jungkook got 1,618 votes. PSY got 222. The ratio is approximately 7-1. For every single vote that PSY received, Jungkook received more than 7. In a poll specifically about who people want to see at Waterbomb, the festival that PSY has come to represent in the Korean summer music cultural imagination, Jungkook did not just win. He won by a margin that makes the comparison almost feel like a category error, like asking whether people prefer sunlight or a lamp and having 1,618 people choose sunlight and 222 choose the lamp. Both are valid. Both produce light. But they are not operating at the same scale. And the question that I want to spend this video exploring is the one implied by that margin. Not whether Jungkook will be an extraordinary presence at Waterbomb, because the voting already tells us that Korea has already decided that answer is yes. The question is what specifically does everyone expect from Jungkook at Waterbomb that produces that level of anticipation? What is it about Jungkook on a Waterbomb stage that 1,618 people decided they needed to see more desperately than they needed to see anything else available to them at that festival this summer? And to answer that question well, I think we need to talk about what Waterbomb actually is, what it demands from performers, why it represents a particular kind of test that not every artist can pass, and then look at what Jungkook brings to that test specifically and why the combination of his specific skills and his specific energy and his specific performance identity makes him not just a good fit for Waterbomb but something close to the ideal Waterbomb performer that the festival has been pointing toward without knowing it. Waterbomb is a summer music festival that takes place in South Korea and that has become one of the most distinctive and most widely discussed live music events in the Korean entertainment calendar. What makes it unlike most other music festivals, what gives it its specific identity and its specific energy, is the water. Performers and audiences at Waterbomb are genuinely drenched. Water is not a decoration or a visual element or a special effect used sparingly for impact. It is a fundamental condition of the event. The stage gets wet. The crowd gets wet. The performers get wet. The equipment is designed to handle it. The whole atmosphere of the event is shaped by the physical reality of water being everywhere, which creates a kind of liberation and a kind of shared physical experience that most concert settings do not produce. When you are wet and the crowd around you is wet and the stage in front of you is wet and the performer you are watching is wet and performing through it, something changes about the energy in the space. The normal social barriers that people maintain around their bodies and their physical comfort dissolve along with their dry clothes. There is a collective surrender to the experience that happens almost automatically. And the performers who thrive at Waterbomb are the ones who understand this surrender, who meet it and match it and amplify it rather than fighting against it or performing around it. This is why PSY has been so perfect for Waterbomb for so long. His entire performance philosophy is built around collective surrender, around creating the conditions in a live audience for people to let go of their self-consciousness and give themselves over to the experience of being in a crowd with a performer who is fully committed to making that crowd feel something. His stage presence is warm and powerful, and his relationship with an audience is immediate and physical in a way that the Waterbomb format rewards enormously. But Waterbomb also makes specific physical demands that go beyond stage presence and audience relationship. It demands that a performer look a certain way in those conditions, that they carry themselves with a specific kind of physical authority when they are soaking wet and the water is still coming and the crowd is at maximum energy. Not every performer meets that demand. Some performers, when placed in the physical conditions of Waterbomb, look like they are managing the situation. Jungkook looks like he was born for it. And this is the first and most immediately obvious reason that 1,618 people voted for Jungkook at Waterbomb. Because the visual image of Jungkook in water, Jungkook soaking wet on a stage, Jungkook performing through the physical conditions that Waterbomb creates, is not a challenge to his stage presence. It is an amplification of it. Everything that makes Jungkook visually extraordinary in a normal performance context, the specific quality of his physicality, the way his body occupies space, the intensity of his stage presence, the tattoos, the earrings, the specific combination of vulnerability and power that characterizes his best performance moments, all of those things are not diminished by water. They are heightened by it. There is something about Jungkook wet on a stage that turns the visual dial to a setting that is simply not available in dry indoor performance contexts. And the people who voted for him in that Idol chart poll understand this. They voted for the image as much as for the performance. They voted for what they know Waterbomb will look like with Jungkook on the stage, and they decided that image was worth 1,618 votes. But if it were only about the visual, PSY would not have been an interesting comparison point at all, because PSY's appeal at Waterbomb has never been primarily visual. PSY's appeal has always been about the energy he generates, the collective experience he creates, the specific way he transforms a crowd into a single entity having a single shared experience. And so for Jungkook to receive 7 times as many votes as PSY in a poll about who will shake up the Waterbomb stage, there has to be something beyond the visual explanation. There has to be an expectation of what Jungkook will do on that stage from a performance and energy perspective that rivals or exceeds what PSY has represented there. And I think that expectation is completely justified, not as a slight against PSY, whose legacy at the festival is real and deserved, but as an accurate assessment of what Jungkook is capable of bringing to a performance context when the conditions are right. Let us talk about what Jungkook actually is as a live performer, because I think this is the heart of the story and the real explanation for those 1,618 votes. Jungkook is, by any reasonable assessment of the available evidence, one of the most complete live performers working in popular music today. The Arirang World Tour has provided the most recent and most comprehensive documentation of this, with show after show producing accounts from audiences and media that describe something more than entertainment and something more than technically accomplished performance. They describe an experience of being in the room with someone who is genuinely present in every moment of the performance, who responds to the specific energy of each specific night in ways that make no two shows feel identical, who can take an audience from one emotional state to another with the specific kind of effortlessness that only comes from years of deep craft combined with natural gifts that cannot be manufactured through craft alone. The vocality is extraordinary, and it has been documented at extraordinary length across the Arirang era. The live vocals that exceeded the studio versions in Las Vegas. The ad-libs that found things in the songs that the recorded versions had not known were there. The specific and unusual ability to sing with full power and full presence while simultaneously dancing at a level that would be impressive from someone who was only a dancer. These are not small things. They are the building blocks of what makes Jungkook genuinely dangerous on a live stage, which is the word I keep coming back to when I think about what he does and what it produces in the people watching him. Dangerous in the sense of unpredictable. Dangerous in the sense that you cannot fully prepare yourself for what is about to happen because Jungkook at his best operates in a space beyond the prepared and the rehearsed, in the live and immediate and genuinely present space where the most extraordinary performance moments always come from. Now translate all of that to a Waterbomb context. Translate the complete live performer with the extraordinary vocals and the athletic dancing and the specific quality of physical presence and the capacity to find things in a performance in real time that were not in the plan. Translate all of that to a stage where the conditions are elemental and liberating in the way that only outdoor festival performances in the summer heat with water everywhere can be. What you get is not just a good Waterbomb performance. What you get is potentially the kind of Waterbomb performance that people talk about for years afterward, the way they talk about certain PSY performances, the kind that becomes a reference point, a moment in the history of that specific festival that marks a before and an after. The specific songs that Jungkook might bring to a Waterbomb performance are worth thinking about because setlist decisions at Waterbomb are not the same as setlist decisions at a normal concert. The festival format and the water format demand certain things from the material a performer chooses. The songs need energy. They need to work at high volume in an outdoor space. They need to be accessible enough that the crowd, which at Waterbomb includes people who may not know every detail of an artist's catalog, can participate in the experience rather than just observe it. And they need to have a physical quality, a danceability, and a momentum and a capacity to create shared movement that aligns with the specific kind of collective joy that the Waterbomb atmosphere is built to produce. 7. Jungkook's global hit checks every single one of those boxes. It is immediately infectious. It has a tempo and an energy that translate perfectly to outdoor festival performance. It is widely enough known globally that even festival attendees who are not dedicated fans will recognize it and feel the pull of it. And performed live by Jungkook in the specific conditions of Waterbomb, with the water and the summer heat and the crowd and the liberation that those conditions produce, it is not difficult to imagine what it becomes. Standing Next to You brings a different energy, rawer and more physically intense, the kind of song that at Waterbomb translates into something that makes the crowd feel the physical weight of the music in their bodies rather than just hearing it with their ears. And the Era material, the songs from the comeback album that Jungkook and his members have been performing on the world tour, to the kind of response that has produced the Concert God title and the walking pictorial coverage and all the extraordinary documentation of what this era of BTS performance looks like at its peak, that material in a Waterbomb context becomes something that the festival may not have seen before. The 1,618 votes also tell us something about the specific moment Jungkook occupies in Korean popular culture right now, and I think this dimension of the story is worth spending some time on because it connects the Waterbomb poll result to the broader narrative of what the era has produced. Jungkook came back from military service into the most successful and most widely discussed BTS comeback in recent memory. The Era album has been critically acclaimed and commercially extraordinary. The world tour has produced show after show of documented proof that whatever he has been through personally and professionally in the years of his career has not diminished what he is capable of on a stage but has deepened it and intensified it and made it more rather than less remarkable. And the Korean public, which has followed BTS throughout all of that, which has been watching Jungkook specifically with the particular kind of attention that Koreans pay to artists who represent something genuine about national pride and national achievement, has registered all of it. The 1,618 votes are not just about the expectation of a great Waterbomb performance. They are about the accumulated cultural capital that Jungkook carries into that performance, the recognition of everything he represents and everything he has achieved and everything that has led to this moment. I also want to talk about the Waterbomb-specific element of physical performance because I think it deserves its own examination in the context of what Jungkook brings. Waterbomb requires performers to be comfortable with their bodies in a very specific and very demanding way. The water changes everything about how a performance looks and how it feels. Clothing behaves differently. Movement looks different. The physical sensations of performing are fundamentally altered. And for an artist whose physical presentation is as integral to their performance identity as Jungkook's is, the Waterbomb conditions are not a challenge to navigate around but an opportunity to show dimensions of that physical presentation that simply are not available in other performance contexts. The tattoos, which Jungkook has cultivated as a form of personal and artistic self-expression across his solo era, take on a different visual weight at Waterbomb. The specific quality of his physicality, which has been described across countless fancams and fan accounts and media pieces as something that exceeds the typical vocabulary of idol performance and occupies a space closer to what athletic performance and fine art have in common, is amplified rather than diminished by the wet conditions. And the specific way he moves, which has always been one of the most commented upon elements of his stage presence, changes in water in ways that are fundamentally interesting visually. The movement becomes more fluid. The physical weight of the performance becomes more visible. Everything that makes Jungkook interesting to watch in dry performance conditions is still there, plus everything that water adds to it. And the people who voted for him in that idol chart poll know this. They know what they are asking to see. And they decided it was worth 1,618 votes. The comparison with PSY that the voting results inevitably invite is one that I want to handle carefully because I do not think it is ultimately a competition and I do not think framing it that way serves the story. PSY's Waterbomb legacy is real and it is deserved and it represents something genuine and important about what summer festival performance in Korea has looked like at its best. What the voting results suggest is not that Jungkook is better than PSY as a Waterbomb performer in some absolute sense, but that there is a specific kind of anticipation attached to the idea of Jungkook at Waterbomb in this specific moment, in the summer of 2026, in the middle of the most successful BTS comeback in years, at the peak of a solo career that has produced extraordinary numbers and extraordinary critical recognition and extraordinary audience responses at every stop of a global world tour that is simply unprecedented in the history of the festival. 1,618 people did not vote for Jungkook over PSY because they think PSY's Waterbomb performances were not great. They voted for Jungkook because they understand, with the specific intuition that fans develop through years of watching an artist, that what is about to happen when Jungkook takes that stage in the summer heat with the water falling and the crowded maximum energy is going to be one of those performance moments that people carry with them for a long time. The festival's own media described Jungkook as having generated high expectations based on his outstanding vocal and performance skills as well as his solid physique and stage presence. That description, solid physique and stage presence, is doing a particular kind of work in a Waterbomb context that it might not do in other contexts. The festival understands what it is hosting when it hosts Jungkook. It understands that the combination of everything he brings is specifically and unusually well suited to the format. And the 1,618 voters understood that before the festival said it. They understood it because they have been watching him. There is also something worth saying about what a Waterbomb performance by Jungkook means in the context of the summer of 2026 specifically. BTS World Tour Arirang is ongoing. The Busan shows in June mark a specific and emotionally significant milestone in the homecoming narrative of the comeback. And Waterbomb, as a summer festival that takes place in the same national cultural space as all of that, is part of the larger tapestry of what this summer represents for BTS and for the people who love them. A Jungkook Waterbomb performance in this context is not just a festival booking. It is a moment within a larger story. It is Jungkook in the Korean summer of 2026, at the peak of his powers, on a stage that demands everything he has and that promises to show everyone watching exactly what those powers look like when they are deployed without the constraints that indoor stadium performance necessarily imposes. It is the summer version of what Las Vegas was. The outdoor, drenched, Korean summer festival version of Concert God. And Korea, to the tune of 1,618 votes to 222, cannot wait to see it. What is Jungkook going to do at Waterbomb that made 1,618 people vote for him? He is going to show up. He is going to get wet. He is going to perform. And if the entire history of what Jungkook does when he stands on a stage and gives a crowd everything he has is any guide to what happens next, every single one of those 1,618 people is going to feel that their vote was not just justified but that it did not go nearly far enough in expressing what they were actually voting for. Because what they were voting for was not just a good performance or even a great performance. They were voting for the experience of being in the presence of someone who genuinely cannot hold anything back on a stage, who uses everything he has every single time, who leaves nothing in reserve and nothing unexpressed and nothing held safely back from the people who came to see him. They were voting for Jungkook at his most Jungkook. And Waterbomb is about to find out exactly what that means. Korea is ready. Army is ready. And the stage is going to be very, very wet. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way to the end. Please hit the like button if you are as excited about Jungkook at Waterbomb as I am. Leave a comment below with what song you most want to hear him perform there because I genuinely want to know. Subscribe to the channel if you are not already here because we are going to cover every major moment of this era summer together. And take care of yourselves. Purple you always. Purple heart.